Hey there, you're watching Dirt Bike Channel. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Kyle Brotherson, and today we're going to talk about whether or not you should spend this on a KTM 6 days model. Stick around. So I get this question a fair amount in email and then in social media. People are saying, Kyle, should I buy a 6 days model? I'm looking at kind of the base model or the 6 days model. Which would you do? And I think probably if you've watched this channel and you've seen the number of KTMs that I've had over the years and you've seen the number of 6 days models, you should probably infer or be able to extrapolate how I feel about this. This is $1,000. I've got 10 $100 bills here, and that's about the extra cost that you pay for a 6 days model. And if you don't know what 6 days is, it's kind of a fun version of the KTM, a lot of the enduro bikes that they'll do for the 6 days enduro, ISDE, International 6 Days Enduro. And so they make a version of the bike that's kind of like special for that. Basically, it's kind of like a limited edition bike, and you're spending about $1,000 extra right here, 1,000 Benjis, actually 10 Benjis, I guess, $1,000 to get that bike. And it turns out money is hard to make. And especially now that Dirt Bike Channel is my sole source of income, this money is even harder to make than you might believe. And so I don't buy 6 days models. And I'll tell you why I don't. I just don't think you're getting enough bang for your buck. I went through, and this may not be an exhaustive list, but I went through looking at different websites and just my knowledge of the industry to try to figure out what you get in that $1,000. What are the upgraded parts that you get? And so I'm just going to kind of read some of my notes here because I was just kind of going through bullet point by bullet point. And there's really only a couple of things that I think are actually valuable. Most of the stuff is just bling. And so I don't want to shame anyone if they have a 6 days model. And I'm not trying to, if you love the way the 6 days models look, go for it. But this is just an education thing for, an alternate viewpoint here. So what are some of the things that you get? And these are why I don't think it's worth it. You get a preload adjuster on your forks. If I can find a preload adjuster on like my Husky, because a lot of the stuff that we're talking about comes if you buy a Husky. You get it like stock if you buy a Husqvarna instead of a KTM. But you'll get preload adjusters on the forks. I never use those. I don't know anyone that uses them. Technically, maybe you might find a use for it, but I just don't. I'm using the clickers, but I'm not using the preload adjuster. So that one falls flat on me. Machined triple clamps. You'll notice that these are a cast triple clamp, and I'll roll in a shot right now of what a machined or billet aluminum triple clamp looks like. You get them on like the KTM XC bikes. You also get it on the Husky bikes, you get it. And on the 6 days model, you'll get a really nice bling orange machined triple clamp, which looks really cool. But I can't feel the difference between the cast aluminum and the billet aluminum one. So it looks cool, but it's not adding any performance for me. So, you're spending some money there and not getting a ton. You also get a handlebar with the logo, the 6 days logo. To me, I don't care if it has a logo on it. So, but you are getting that, so that's a little bit of a bling. You get a map switch where you can select different maps. So this is a regular KTM XEW TPI, and the only way for you to select map 1 or map 2 is by taking the tank off and unplugging the little connector, which switches it from one map to the other. You can buy the map switch for this bike or any of the other KTM bikes, and then it just comes up here and put it on your handlebars. On the 6 days bike, you get that stock default. But for me, in my experience with these bikes, I feel like the first map makes the bike run how it's supposed to, and the second map just kind of makes it run like dog crap. And so I never, even when I've got it on the Husky bikes, I never use it because I don't like the way the second map runs. So that's not a selling point for me. Two-piece sprocket. You get a two-piece sprocket where it's got an aluminum, it's got a steel outer ring on the sprocket and then aluminum on, the inside. And while that maybe lasts a little bit longer, I don't really know. It does look cool, and so there's some bling factor, but I don't think, I mean, by the time you've got 50, 60, 100 hours on this, you're gonna be changing sprockets anyway, and the sprockets aren't that much money. I just don't think it's gonna last longer. I don't think that's a selling feature, unless you like the way that it looks. You also get slightly different brake rotors. So if you notice, and I'll try to roll in a shot here, and this one isn't even a stock brake rotor, but this one has vents. The KTM 6 days brake rotor on the back is not vented, and that's supposed to be like stronger or something, but then again, maybe it doesn't dissipate the heat as well, so I don't know. On the front, it's still vented, but it's just a little bit different deal. I don't know that you could ever feel the difference on that, so it's just different. If you're gonna make this thing more stronger, why not just give us an actual rear disc guard? Like seriously, that would be a value add for me if it had a rear disc guard. I'd rather have a rear disc guard than a maybe slightly stronger rear brake disc. You get a cool looking seat cover, which is bling, you know, but it doesn't really affect the performance of the bike, so that's something that you're getting. They give you a silencer that says 6 days on it, and I'm sitting there going, okay, well, great. Well, it's still not Forest Service approved. So I've still got to take the silencer that comes on that bike that now has 6 days on it. I got to pull it off to be able to run in forest things. And I could be wrong on that, guys. Don't kill me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that 6 day silencer is still not approved to run in Forest Service places or even races like enduro races if you're on public land. What else do we have? Oh, skid plate. They finally do something. So for your $1,000 here, you finally get something that you are actually going to need, because the 6 days bikes do come with skid plates. So there's something great. Okay, cool. So we found something that I don't have to buy for myself. You also get a front axle puller. The only front axle puller I have in the room is on this Beta that's right over here out of the shot. So that's nice and it's bling, but it doesn't really affect that much. I mean, it makes it a little bit easier to pull the axle out when you're pulling off the front tire, but it's not a huge thing. And then on the wheels, on the 6 days models, you get a little bit of a bling where it says it's a 6 days. So it's got a little logo on there, but it doesn't affect the performance at all. And then you get the different graphics. And this is probably the biggest thing, is it'll say 6 days and it'll say Chile or Sardinia or wherever the 6 days enduro was being held that year that they're highlighting. And so it looks different. And I think that's probably the biggest thing about these bikes, is they just look different. And so it sets your bike apart from everyone else's. And if that's worth $1,000 to you, then go for it. And maybe to some people it does. For me, that doesn't make a difference. Really, about all I'm getting on there, on that one, it's about $1,000, and all I'm getting, the value for me that I don't have to go out and then buy on the aftermarket, is a skid plate. And to me, you know, if I'm gonna have to spend $1,000 to just get a skid plate, that's not, for me, the money just doesn't make sense. And yes, they're trick bikes and they're cool, and I'm not poo-pooing anyone who's done it. I'm just explaining why I don't do it, because it's not enough of a value exchange. I'd rather take that $1,000 and spend it on gas and tires, because if every tire change you do, let's just say every tire change you do is $150 or maybe it's $180, you can do a lot of tire changes, anywhere from 5 to 7 tire changes with that $1,000. And I'd much rather see me or my riding buddies put $1,000 back in their bank account and use it towards gas and tires, because none of the things that come on the 6 day bike are gonna make you a better rider. There's only one thing that's gonna make you a better rider, and that is by riding and practice and seat time and getting instruction. But it all comes here at the handle controls, and then putting those fresh rubber on your wheels is going to make the bike perform way better than all those stickers and all those other things that come on the 6 day bike. So that's just my opinion. That's why I don't buy 6 days models, because the value exchange just doesn't work for me. So anyway, hope you learned something. And if you like these videos, if I'm adding value to your life in any way, please use the links down in the description when you're buying parts from either Motorsport or Rocky Mountain ATV or even Amazon. It helps me out a ton. You can go over to Patreon and select a monthly tip or donation amount if you want. And also stay tuned. Every once in a while we do dirt bike sweepstakes where I give away dirt bikes, and during those times you can get involved and you might win a dirt bike, which is a pretty cool thing. Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. I've always wanted to try this.